Great morning, everyone. Great morning. We are just getting started. Happy Wednesday. Just give everyone some time to be notified. Let's check the audio settings real quick. All right, we got good audio as well. We're going to get started in just a second. Hey, Empower Us Now. We are getting started in 5 minutes. So, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. So if you want to see my screen, you want to go to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. But we're about to get started right now. I'm going to do the pre-screen, pre-roll. Great morning, business owners and managers. Wes Walters here. Welcome to another awesome episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning, where on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and ways to improve your business and your team. So happy Wednesday, of course. I'm glad that you guys are here. Let's do the check-in before the lesson. How is everyone doing? How was the first week of 2023? How was the first week for everyone? Man, for me, it was a doozy. It was a doozy. I came out the bat, swinging for the fences. And that's what I did. The first week was amazing. I was just checking stuff off like Zorro on my to-do list. So great week. You know, they say the first week is a microcosm of the rest of the year. So with that in my mind, I wanted to be sure that my first week was very fruitful, which it was. So yeah, my first week was amazing. And so far the second week is even going just as good. So let's share screen here so we can begin the juggling. Let the juggling begin. All righty. Like the slide says, how being average is bad for your business. You know, if for those guys, you know, who watch, who are into sports, we always talk about batting averages and how, you know, being average is okay. It's okay with being, you know, when I was in grade school, man, growth is such a wonderful thing. When I was in grade school, I would, if my mom is watching, she's probably laughing, right? Because when I was in grade school, I would try to have conversations with my mother and try to convince her how a C was not that bad. No, true story. If my mom is watching, she would be like, yeah, that's true. I would try to convince my mother, like, look, a C is not that bad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I got a C. She would be like, you can do so much better. I know you're not working your hard. I'm like, whoa, hold up. First of all, you don't know because you're not in class with me. I didn't say that because I wouldn't have any teeth right now, right? I didn't say that, but I would try to, you know, politically correct, negotiate with my mother and trying to convince her that, hey, look, a C plus is really not that bad. A C plus is kind of like a low B minus. This is the mind of a unseasoned Wes Walters. So don't judge me. This was grade school, 7th, 8th grade, when school wasn't really that important because baseball was more important. And yeah, anything that got in the way of baseball, like school, was not really my favorite thing to do. So school got in the way of baseball. Matter of fact, school wouldn't finish early enough because I would be late for baseball practice. But anyway, I would try to negotiate with my mother and try to convince her that, hey, look, a C plus is not that bad. What's wrong with being average? And she was like, you are Walters. Walters are not average. And you can do A and B plus B work. And so with the nudge in the right direction, thank you, mother. I kind of alienated myself away from C pluses, but that was my thing. I was like, what's wrong with a C plus? I would do just enough to pass the class, not too much to be up in front. Nah, I didn't want to be in front. No. I just want to just chill in the back of the class. I'm going to do my C plus work and everything is going to be Gucci. You know, when you start doing A plus work and B plus work, then the teacher want to call you in front. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to stick with my C. Back in the day, I mean, you see me now, people don't know me, but I was very shy. Like, you know, teacher would be like, look, part of the class is you get a participation grade for presenting. And I was like, nah, I'm presenting. Nope, I'll take my C plus. But anyway, let's continue. So we're going to talk about how being average is bad for your business. Let's continue, right? The first thing is, why do people want to be average? Why? Like, you know, like why? In my case, average was safe. Average was safe. And most people want to be average because average is safe. What do I mean by that? If you're looking at this diagram, if I'm not mistaken, 92% of individuals that are in the West, so America, the UK, industrialized countries, 92% are going to say, hey, choose one of these popsicles. 92% of the individuals are going to choose the one in the middle. That's just the way our minds have been routed over the years. We're going to choose the one in the middle because it's safe. It's in the middle. It's safe. It's average. And, this is embedded into our DNA because this came from back in the days when we could be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. We realized that if we stay in the middle, the people on the peripheral, on the outside of the perimeter, they're going to get eaten first before the saber-toothed tiger makes it to the middle. So this is where it came from, right? Even look at elephants. Elephants demonstrate this right now. Elephants would put the baby elephant in the middle, and the big elephants, the parent elephants, will be on the outside, the perimeter, to protect it, because in the middle is safe. So we like being in the middle. It's safe. All right. Why? So the question was why people want to be average, because in the average, the first reason is average is safe. Second reason, why do people want to be average? Because it's not really any heavy lifting involved. It's easy. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, when I was in grade school, I could do just enough work to pass the class, just enough to not get my mother invited to school because, you did not want my mother coming to school. Game over. Like on the day when my mother's coming to school, I'm calling in sick. I'm like, it's a senior cut day today. My mom's coming. I'm not coming. But anyway, so hard work is not required. Being average is easy. Again, I would just slide through grade school, just not enough to fail, not enough to be an A student. C. This is where the quote unquote cool, dumb kids were. Oh, the peer pressure of kids. Dumb. Like, you're not cool if you're smart. Could kill myself. Anyway, so you don't have to work pretty hard to be average. You just keep on gliding. Why do people want to be average? Herd mentality. Everybody else is doing it. This is safe. Let me stay safe. This is why people want to be average. Now, the negative side of average and how it is affecting your business's culture. You want to get pen and paper for this. This is where the real heavy lifting comes in. Now, how being average is affecting your business? It's affecting your business by you are attracting more average individuals. We don't call them Avengers. We call them averagers. Yes, that's one of the reasons how being average is affecting your business in a negative way. You are attracting more average individuals, and we don't call them Avengers. We call them averagers. Let me explain. We've all heard this term or this cliche, this fact, it's not a cliche, this fact that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. We've all heard that, right? So the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. That's the thesis statement moving forward, right? So if you have a business that's average, that you hire all 5, you don't hire no 10s, no 9s, you just hire people in the middle, 5s, right? Here's what happens when you hire 5s. The weakest link in a chain of 5s is, guess what? A 4. The weakest link in a chain of 5s is a 4. Because if it was all 5s, the chain wouldn't break. We can all see that, right? So the chain broke because it was a 4 in there. Now, so you have a chain of all 5 links. 5 links. I mean, you remember 5 links, right? And one of the weakest links in the chain of 5 is a 4. What do? You don't get rid of that 4. You just be like, oh, he messed up once, he messed up twice, he messed up 3 times. He's a consistent mess up person, but you keep him because he's nice and because he wears a nice black Congo, right? So you decide to keep him. What happens next? So now you kept that 4 and you built a company culture around 4s. Because again, you're no longer operating at 5s. You've allowed a bad apple, fill in the blank for whatever reason, who is performing subpar to remain at the company. Now, what does that 4 does? He recruits people like him. He's like, man, I got a great job. I get paid every Friday, and all I do is, I go to the break to the warehouse. I sleep. I get lost in the storage. I make trips I go outside. I take 4 hours to sweep up the garage or to sweep up the parking lot. Like, it's gravy, man. No micromanagement. You ain't got to do nothing. So he recruits more 4s like him. Stick with me. Now, that 4 that you kept, you built a company culture based on 4s now, because you're no longer in 5s. You don't even realize that you're no longer average. You're below average. You're below average. You're no longer operating as average as 5s. You're now operating as 4s. Your company culture is now consists of 4s. I want to be sure everybody sees that. Let's continue. It gets deeper. Now, that 4 that you kept, that 4, going back to this, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Now your chain consists of 4s. You have a chain with links of 4s. The weakest link of that chain of 4 is what? Is a 3. If it was all 4s, it wouldn't break. So now your weakest link in the chain of 4s is now a 3. And what do? You keep that 3. Because as a manager, you're up here. You didn't even realize that you're no longer operating at 5s. This doesn't trickle up to you until it's too late. So here it is now. You started off with an average company with 5s. You allowed a 4 to come in, drop the ball. Now you have 3s. Let's move forward. What happens after that? You kept that 3. You kept that 3. If you guys are here on Instagram, if you want to see my screen, you got to go to YouTube and type in Wes Walters, right? So you kept the 3. Now you've built a culture, a company's culture around 3s. And what does that 3 do? What does that 3 do? If you've been paying attention, that 3 recruits more 3s. Because birds of a feather flock together. 3s don't usually have 5 friends. Nah, 3s stick with 3s, 4s stick with 4s, 5s stick with 5s. No shame if you're a 3. This is not a show to diss 3s. So you now have a culture, a company culture where everybody's lackluster. Everybody's like, hey, we could just take our time. We're supposed to be here at 10, but 10 could be 10, 10:30, 11 when I get here. What's the problem? Why we got to be here at 10 anyway? What's the big deal? Well, it's technically only 9 in Alabama. It's really 8 in Vegas. That's the type of energy you get when you hire 3s. Now, that 3 stayed. You kept that 3. And the weakest link in the chain of 3s is what? You guessed it. A 2. Now, you kept that 2 because y'all went to high school. Y'all went to Head Start together. You guys are Head Start alumni. So you're like, I can't get rid of my boy. We went to Head Start together. He used to help me on the monkey bar. I can't get rid of my boy. I'm like, dude, he's a 2. You need to get rid of him. No, I am committed to Head Start. I'm loyal to my Head Start alumni. I will not get rid of him. All right. So now he continues to underperform, underdeliver. And now he recruits more people like him. What does he recruit? More 2s. See how this works? So now you went from a culture of average, where you thought average was okay, of fives, and now you have a culture of ones. Now at this point, management gets, the radar goes off. You're like, whoa, we're losing money. Employee churn is through the window. Not the employees you're getting rid of, but the other employees, the other fives are like, this sink is going down. Winners like to be around winners. So your five players no longer want to stay at this company, because it's a company where the company culture embraces ones and twos. Guess what? Newsflash, as close as you might think 1 and 2 is to 5, fives don't want to hang around ones. Not at all. Not at all. So you have alienated your fives. They've left, went to your competition, and now you have a culture of ones and twos, and you're like running around like a chicken with his head cut. Like, what are we gonna do? But no, it's kind of too late. You should have seen this a long time ago. You could have, should have seen this a long time ago. So it's too late for that. So let's continue. So now you have a company culture that's based on ones. Now we see the importance, because by this time management got the notification, and they're like, oh my God, we can't keep employees. We have high employee turnaround. We're losing money. We're bleeding money. At this point, you're hemorrhaging money. So now we see why it's so important to have KPIs in place in every department. And these are numbers that you're watching and monitoring, if not daily, at least weekly. Once you have your weekly team calls or team meetings, you need to be looking at your KPIs and be like, look, we used to be operating at 5. You're saying, your manager is saying this so proudly. No, we are a company of 5s, which is not a good thing, but it's better than 1. And now we're operating with 1. We can't keep good talent. Good talent doesn't want to come here. And we're losing. We're spiraling backwards. All right? This is why it's so important to have your KPIs in place and know your numbers. All right. So where in some industries, what are some industries where average is not allowed? Being average is just not tolerated. A brain surgeon. Could you imagine a brain surgeon? Just imagine for a second. Close your eyes and imagine a brain surgeon, your parent, your mom, your dad, your child. Imagine your child has to have brain surgery, and the surgeon is okay with being average. He's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with being the best brain surgeon. To be the average brain surgeon. Yeah, you know, if I put a little capillaries here, remove a little vein there, replace it with an artery, I mean, it's still in the head. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, you just shake it all around, he'll be okay. What if you had a brain surgeon like that? You wouldn't want that person operating on your family members at all. Hey, Black Scorpio Naya. So I'm sharing my screen. So if you want to see the screen, you're going to have to go to YouTube, all right? And while you're there, subscribe to the channel. You wouldn't want that brain surgeon operating on your family members. So you can agree being average is definitely detrimental to your family, in your case, your family or your business. So you can clearly see now that someone's life is in danger or is at risk, we can see how detrimental average is. Well, let's continue. Let's keep it going. It's not done yet. Where is being average not allowed? Architects. Wait, first of all, I can't skip through that. Hold up. I got to share slides. Hold on. Let me share slides for a second. Oh, let me slide this over. Here you go. According to National Library of Medicine, medical errors cause nearly 100,000 deaths. 100,000 deaths, and costs millions of dollars annually. Yeah, that's what C Plus does. C Work does. 100,000 deaths. Let's keep it moving. What's next? Architects. Architects are not allowed to be average. Architects are not allowed to be average. Let me show you what happens when architects are average. Bridges collapse. When architects are average, it gets worse. Apartment buildings with babies and women, kids, men, working class men die when architects are just average. So are we seeing how detrimental being average is yet? It's okay when it's just a retail store and you're just coasting through. But when lives are at risk, you're like, whoa, being average is a bad thing. It's a bad idea. All around, it's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's go forward more. Let's go forward more. Architects are not allowed to be average. Who else? Midwife. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the midwife? The midwife saying, I might wash my hands. I might not. All I got to do is, say a quick prayer and my hands are clean because I am blessed by God and God is protecting me. Yeah, I was having wings a couple of minutes ago, but I can deliver this baby. I don't need to wash my hand because these are divine hands. These are hands from God. What if your midwife was saying that? Like, yeah, I was outside in the garden, but that's not my garden. That's God's garden. And the soil is actually going to bless your womb. What if your midwife was saying that? What if she was average? Would you want this midwife delivering your baby? Of course not. So when lives are at risk, now we can clearly see how being average is a bad idea. But let's go further. Let's go further. What other industry being average is not allowed? Pilots. Ha! From someone like myself who enjoys being on a plane. Just love being on a plane. Pilots cannot be average. Cannot. Pilots cannot be average. Now, again, it really comes full circle when lives are at risk. And we realize that these are individuals that have to be on their A game every day. They cannot have a down day. A pilot cannot have a down day. That down day is the day I'm flying on that plane and it's not good. Midwives cannot have a down day. They cannot say, it was a bad day. Yeah, so what? The baby died. It's okay. It's only you was only pregnant for 9 months. Get over it. Cannot have a bad day. Architects cannot have a bad day, a down day. Brain surgeons cannot have an off day. No, because lives are at risk. Now, imagine if Pilot Sully, everybody remembers Sully from The Miracle on the Hudson, right? What if Pilot Sully was average? And this is a perfect example everyone can remember. Pilot Sully was the pilot of a U.S. Airways flight that went down in the Hudson. He took the plane down in the Hudson, got hit, struck some birds, couldn't make it to LaGuardia. And I was like, look, we're going to be in the Hudson. These were his words. We're going to be in the Hudson. And if you go to YouTube and you listen to the video of traffic control, his conversation with traffic control, it's so funny because he's so calm. He has this plane. He's about to land a plane in the water, and he's so calm. The guy's like, what happened? So we hit birds. I need a runway. Can you make it to Jersey? Not gonna make it. He was like, all right, can you make it to LaGuardia? We're not gonna make it. And the guy's like, so the guy in air traffic control is like, okay, I told you to go to Jersey. You don't want to go to Jersey. I said to go to LaGuardia. You're not gonna go to LaGuardia. So the pilot is like, all right, what do you want to do? You want to come back to JFK? He's like, I'm not going to make it back to JFK. I'm too far away. She's like, so what do you want to do? I'm going to be in the Hudson. You got to go to YouTube and listen to it. And the other traffic control guy is talking to another traffic control guy. He's like, what did he say? I think he said he's going to be in the Hudson. He's like, hey, Pilot Sully, we just want to be sure that we heard what you said. We got a runway open for you in LaGuardia. Sully was like, not going to make it. Going to be in the Hudson. Real calm, real stoic, like a pilot. Real stoic, like we're going to be in the Hudson. But imagine if he had gotten a C+. Imagine if he decided to be an average in landing. It wouldn't have been miracle in the Hudson. It would have been tragedy. a tragedy under Hudson. Now we see how important and how detrimental being average is. Same for your business. Being average, that it says, there's a quote that says, good is the enemy of great. Average is not even good, it's average. So you're beneath good. So there's great, there's good, and there's average. You want to be, wow. But anyway, let's continue. So we saw how being average, how detrimental that is to a business. But how do you combat that? Of course, you want to have where excellence is the norm. The norm. This is how we do. I know at the other place, you would drop fries for 10 seconds. Here, we do it for 11 seconds. Keep the fries in there an extra second, okay? So this is the way excellence, this is the way it's done. We know how it was done at your other business. But here, this is the norm. You want excellence to be embedded into everything that you do. Everything. Everything. One of my good friends, Marquel Russell, always says, the way you do some things is the way you do everything. The way you do something is the way you do everything. So excellence needs to be the way you do everything at your business. Excellence, everything. Now, there's more. Excellence needs to be exhibited on your internal customers first. Yeah, checkmate. So here, you can't just talk about excellence. I remember one of my friends, I hate saying this, but one of my good friends, he was working for a company, and he was like, yeah, they always talking about black excellence, this black excellence. This is not black excellence. This is whack excellence. That was his saying. This ain't black excellence, Wes. This is whack excellence. If they were black excellence, they would have done this, and this. And he had some points, he's like, yeah, you're right. So like, this is not black excellence, because if this was excellence, they really treat their customers like that. The first people they would treat with excellence is their internal customers, which is the employees. Again, you can't just talk it. You have to live it, and your employees will let you know if you are really about that life. If this is something that we just talk about, black excellence or any excellence, or this is something that we live. No, they're not excellence, because let me tell you how they treat me. And this is first indicated by when you hire, your new hires are the first people coming in to be like, okay, is this really what they're talking about, or this is just gimmick? Because they're going to see if it's excellent. When they start their first day, if their workstation is not set up, if they don't have a mouse, they don't have a keyboard, they don't even have a login, you cannot come to that person and say, oh, yeah, we pride ourselves on excellence. Oh, really? I've been here since I started on the 1st of January, and today's the 10th, and I still don't have my login. I don't even have a computer. I'm working from my own personal computer, and you're talking about excellence. So your internal customers, your employees, are the first people that you have to demonstrate excellence to. And if you're not doing it, they are going to pull your card. So this is not a bad thing. This is training wheel. This is the training wheels. You demonstrate excellence first in-house, and then those employees exhibit that to the external customers. So it starts in-house. You provide excellence to your internal customers. Those internal customers embody it and share that with the external customers. That's the way it works. So you have a training wheel, you have a, whatever you want to call it, a training course where you can demonstrate excellence every day in-house. And more management. For management, excellence needs to be the default setting. It just needs to be the default setting. This is how things are done. We do everything. We go the extra mile. That's just how things are done here. Now, I'll tell you this. Once management embodies this, it's going to be automatic to the people that are working under them, because they're seeing excellence. Even if they came from the worst neighborhood, never worked for a business like yours, people rise to the environment that they're in. People rise. Let me say that again. People rise, employees rise to the environment that they're in. That's why, people say, the way you're dressed dictates the way you will be addressed. It's very rare to see someone in a three-piece suit doing graffiti. And again, I'm not the art of I respect graffiti as an art, but I'm saying you behave the way you're dressed. That's why for some galas, you have to, not for some galas, all galas, you got to have a suit on and a dress, because chances of you fighting in a suit really goes down. Chances of you getting on tables and twerking goes down. Not that it goes away, it just goes down. Chances of you, getting into an altercation and acting like unlike yourself goes down, because people rise to the occasion and then the environment they're in. So if you're dressed for success, you kind of behave successful. Now, if you got a wife beater on and, sweatpants, you might get that type of energy from me. But if I'm in my suit, there's certain things that my mind is switched to corporate mode. I'm like, corporate business, act accordingly. So for management, that needs to be the default setting. Like, hey, we come in, the floor is excellence. We walk on the floor of excellence. Everything else is up from there. And that's going to be shared with the team that they manage. Now, that's the end of this presentation. If you need help creating a culture of excellence, if this is something that you're struggling with, if you realize that your management team is poor, they demonstrate lackluster performance, and if you need help changing, turning that around 180 degrees, then I want you to go to workwithwes.com, and someone from my team will definitely assist you. All right, so that's it. Quick and easy, real quick show. If you are average, stop being average. Average is the death. That's the beginning of the end. Being average is bad. You don't want to be average in anything you're doing. Who wants to be? Who wants an average husband? Who wants an average boyfriend? I don't know. Well, I've heard people say that. Like, I just want an average guy. I don't want an average chick. I'm not. Sorry. But yeah, average is you don't want that. Average is the death. So I encourage you to take a look at the culture that you currently have at your business. And if you need help with it, then go to workwithwes.com, and someone from my team will be able to assist you. All right. That concludes today's show. I wish you guys an amazing rest of the week, and looking forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right. Take care.